For 17 weeks of the year, millions of people across the nation wake up every Sunday excited to watch America's most popular sports league, the NFL. But there's a dark side to the game we love, concussions. In recent years, player safety and concussion awareness has risen due to us learning more about the long-term effects of these brain injuries. Today, I will be informing you all about the dangers of concussions, as well as what the NFL is doing to help prevent these injuries. First, I'd like to talk to you all a little bit about the physical nature of the game of football. Football is undeniably one of the most physical and violent sports in the world. It consists of very large men flying across the field at very high speeds, which results in a lot of high-impact collisions. Unfortunately, due to the physical nature of the game, injuries and wear and tear are bound to happen. From 2016 to 2020, there were 3,025 injuries reported across the NFL. And to put that in perspective, there are only around 1,600 players in the league. So over a 4-year span, you can expect a player to become seriously injured twice. To take that one step further, there's around a 50% chance that a player will become seriously injured in just one season. But the type of injury that is of highest concern is brain injuries due to the devastating effects that they can have, as well as there being less knowledge out there about them. And as you can see from this chart here, this is the number of concussions since 2015, and the total is 2,028. But one trend I noticed is that in the earlier years, which was like 2015 and 2016, the numbers were a lot higher than they are now. So you can show that the NFL has been putting a greater emphasis on player safety. But the main concern with concussions is lower quality of life for players post-football, as well as even shortened lifespans. And repeated concussions can lead to CTE, which is essentially brain degeneration due to head trauma. And this can cause memory loss, depression, and impulsive behavior, according to mayoclinic.org. And as you can see here, this is a picture of a normal brain paired with a brain with advanced CTE. And the brain with CTE, you can clearly see is much smaller, it's discolored, it's just clearly been degenerated. In 2023, Boston University did a study on the brains of 376 former NFL players and on their brains. And in the study, they found that 345 of them have been diagnosed with CTE, and that is a whopping 92%. However, the survey was subject to selection bias because obviously the families of the players would be more likely to donate their brains if they suspected that they had CTE. The best way to stop concussions is prevention. In recent years, the NFL has put great emphasis on reducing the number of concussions across the league. They implemented a concussion protocol in 2011. So if a player gets hit in the head during the game, they must exit the game and go to the sidelines and receive medical attention. While on the sidelines, there's an extensive checklist that they had to go through. And then ultimately, it's up to the medical staff to decide whether or not the player is allowed to re-enter the game. But diagnosis can be difficult because the symptoms are not always obvious. So a lot of times, brain injuries can go unreported and undiagnosed because it's a lot different than if you break like your foot or something where there's like an obvious like physical pain in a certain area that you can point to. Like concussions are much less tangible. So in conclusion, concussions are a serious epidemic in the NFL right now and need to be handled with care. Repeated head injuries can lead to CTE, which can eventually lead to dementia. So the most important thing to do is to implement rules and protocols to increase player safety, as well as spread awareness about concussions. Thank you.